You're sitting here right now, breathing, thinking, but stop for a second. Why? Why does anything exist at all? Not just you. Not just Earth. Why is there a universe, stars, atoms, or anything? Nothing would have been easier. Nothing needs no explanation. Nothing just is. So why isn't there nothing? Someone in the comments asked, how did we even come into existence and why? What's the need? There could have been nothing. And that question hits different because every major belief system on Earth has tried to answer it. Science has theories. But today, we're looking at what religions say. And we'll explore atheism's take, Christianity's answer, and then Islam's perspective, which might surprise you with how deeply it addresses this exact question. And by the way, if questions like this keep you up at night, hit that subscribe button. Drop your burning questions in the comments, and I'll answer them in the next video. Let's start with the atheist view. If you believe there's no God, then existence is basically an accident. Scientists say 13.8 billion years ago, there was a Big Bang. The universe exploded into existence from an incredibly tiny point. But here's the problem. That doesn't explain why there was something to explode in the first place. Some scientists say maybe tiny quantum particles just appeared randomly. But that still doesn't answer why there are quantum laws at all. You keep asking why and never get a final answer. Atheism essentially says, existence has no purpose. You're here by chance. The universe doesn't care about you. It just happened, and one day it'll end. No meaning, no reason, no creator. For many people, that feels empty, like reading a book with no author. Now here's where it gets interesting. Christianity offers a completely different answer. In the Bible, Genesis starts with, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Christianity says God existed eternally, outside of time, and chose to create everything. He created the universe out of love to share His glory. Humans are special because we're made in God's image. But wait, if God created everything, who created God? Christianity's answer. God doesn't need a creator because He's eternal. He's outside the rules of cause and effect. He simply is. In Exodus 3:14, when Moses asks God His name, God says, I am who I am. Existence itself. But here's the thing, Christianity doesn't deeply explain why God chose to create. It emphasizes faith over understanding. Now let me ask you something. What if there was a belief system that not only says God created everything, but explains exactly why with crystal clear logic? Now here's the part no one talks about. Islam approaches this question completely differently. The Quran doesn't just say God created the universe and leave it there. It gives you the why. In Surah Ad-Dariyat, verse 56, Allah says, I did not create jinn and mankind except to worship me. The purpose is explicit. You exist to know your Creator and worship Him. But Islam goes deeper. The Creator existed alone in absolute perfection, needing nothing and no one. Yet He chose to create beings with consciousness, free will, and the ability to recognize Him. You're not an accident. You're intentional. Every human being was created with a purpose that's bigger than just living and dying. Here's the clever part about Islamic theology. It addresses the who created God question directly. The Quran says in Surah Al-Ikhlas, say, He is Allah, the One, Allah the Eternal. He neither begets, nor is born, nor is there to Him any equivalent. Allah is uncreated, eternal, and nothing is like Him. He's not bound by time, space, or the laws of physics He created. A study on Islamic cosmology showed how the Quran describes the universe, just beginning in terms that align remarkably with modern science. Surah Al-Anbiya verse 30 says, have those who disbelieved not considered that the heavens and the earth were joined together, and we separated them? That sounds a lot like the Big Bang, written 1,400 years before scientists discovered it. And here's what really gets me. Islam doesn't just explain existence, it explains your existence specifically. You're not random molecules that accidentally formed consciousness. In the Quran, Allah says He created humans from clay, then breathed His spirit into them. Your physical matter given divine soul. That's why you can think, feel, question, and wonder about existence itself. But here's where Islam answers the deeper question. Why did Allah create us with free will, with the ability to choose right from wrong? Because this life is a test. The Quran is crystal clear about this. In Surah Al-Mulk, verse 2, Allah says, He who created death and life to test you as to which of you is best indeed. You're not here permanently. This world is temporary. It's a testing ground. Think about it like this. If a teacher gives you an exam, there's always a result afterward, right? Islam says after death, you return to Allah. Every single action you did, every choice you made, every word you spoke is recorded. The Quran describes the day of judgment when each person will stand before their Creator and be held accountable. Those who believed and did good will be rewarded with paradise. Those who rejected truth and harmed others will face consequences. This completely changes the why do we exist question. You exist not just to know Allah but to be tested by Him. This world with all its struggles, pain, happiness, and choices is your examination. And your performance determines your eternal destination. Suddenly, existence has stakes. It has meaning. Every moment matters because you're building your afterlife right now. But listen, if you see it differently, if you found your own answers to why we exist, drop them in the comments. I genuinely want to hear your perspective. Maybe you'll teach me something I haven't considered. That's what makes us human, right? We're all trying to figure this out together.